Welcome to the Medium at Heart podcast with the Manfredi sisters. I'm Angela.
And I'm Annette.
And I don't think we mentioned last time or how significant this is, but we are Jersey girls, if our accents didn't give us away.
Yes.
Little Jersey girls. So Annette and I are sisters, and we grew up in New Jersey. My sister is a medium, which I have my way of describing, which is you're a translator, you're an interpreter, you're a connector for people who've crossed over and the loved ones that are still here. Mm-hmm. Is that the right description?
Perfect. That's exactly it. Yes.
Okay. And so you've had this gift really since childhood.
Yes.
And in our first episode, we talked about us playing together in the bedroom and you know, seeing our relatives come through, and you handled it with such grace.
Yes,
you just accepted it.
It is what it. Well, now I can say that easily because I accept it now. Back then, I was probably deathly afraid of it. There are times though when I do get scared. Like, for example, the other night I'm in the kitchen, right, doing the dishes, and we were watching. We were watching a show. I don't remember what show. It doesn't matter. And I'm doing the dishes, and I jumped because I felt sometimes they get very close to me.
Oh my gosh!
And I was like, oh my gosh, what are you doing? And sometimes I think they have a little fun with me. I do.
And when that happens, do you?
I say, obviously, it was our relatives.
Okay.
So I know that they're just,
hanging
how are
around.
you? But if it's for someone else, I always say, okay, I acknowledge you. What do you need me to do? What messages do you need me to give? And then I text whoever it's for.
That's nice that you do that.
Yes.
So you're like in the moment, on call.
I'm on call. That's so well said. See? I'm on call.
So you're a medium. You've done hundreds of readings over the course of many years. And it is fascinating. And when people find this out about you, I know you are the most popular person at any party that you go to. I've seen this firsthand where we'll be at a party and Annette and I will be at a party, or Annette will be at a party. And when people hear what you do, all of a sudden people just start coming over and you end up with a line of people wanting to talk to you.
And I don't mind sharing my gift at all because I know the peaceful feeling it brings them because it brings me the same feeling. So I don't mind at all. As long as I get a quick break to eat. I'm okay.
Food is very important.
Food is so important. I love food.
We love the food. The way to our hearts, the Manfredi sisters, is just like bring us food.
Yeah, 100%.
Especially if it's anything to do with an Italian bakery. Oh. I know there's lots of Italian bakeries in New Jersey and in Florida. Mm-hmm. So that's always good. We love our sweets. So as part of being a medium, you're obviously bringing a lot of messages to a lot of people. And you have people who've actually written about you.
Yes. A friend of mine in town, when I lived in New Jersey, texted me and said, do you want to meet for coffee? So I dropped the kids off at school and we went to Dunkin' Donuts and we met for coffee. And she said, she's a nurse. She teaches nursing. And they had gotten on the subject of spirituality and mediums and etc. And a girl in the audience said, oh, my mom goes to a medium. And it turned out that the teacher, I read for her, and she said, by any chance, is her name Annette? Because they talked about the same town that we lived in. And she said, yes. And she handed me this book, and it's called I'm Still Standing. Wow. And in one of the chapters, it says, I'll take a medium. And I remember the reading very vividly. She came to the house, and she had lost her son. And her son came through immediately. He was very strong energy. They get so excited to talk to you. So he was super excited. And I validated so many things for her, as you could read in the book. But I think the one that really stayed with her and I was, he was insistent. His name was Michael. He was insistent that she had a pair of his boots. So throughout the reading, I mentioned it as he mentioned it to me. And then as she was leaving, I said to her, Gabriella, don't forget, he's still insisting that you have his boots. And she said, Annette, like I told you, I gave his boots away. And I said, okay, I'm just the messenger. And I hadn't spoken to her in a while. And then in the book, she said that she had been cleaning out, a while after that, she had been cleaning out a locker at work that she used a while back. Sort of forgot about it. And in the locker were his boots.
Wow.
So they always tell the truth. I say, you may not be able to validate it in that moment because you're getting so much information thrown at you. And you think you could, recognize it all. You can't. That's why I tell people to write it down.
And
But
it takes time.
It takes time. Sometimes it takes time. You'll have that aha moment, I call it. Oh, I have another great story I have to tell you really quick. Because this happens too. So I was doing a reading for this woman, and somebody came through that she was an acquaintance of hers. The acquaintance's son had passed, and he saw a way to get a message to his mother. So I just gave the message, and I said, it's so important, this message, and it's so important that, he's at peace, but do with it what you want. He's okay, but he just needed to say that. So she wasn't sure. She went back and forth. Should I tell her this or not? So she confided in someone who knew her. So this friend of hers wound up telling her. And then we had another reading about 6 months later, and she said, is he okay that that's the way it happened? I said, yes. In fact, he's very grateful that you gave those messages and they got to his mom. And he validates that. He says, you're going to see a blue truck, and that will validate you did the right thing. So several months later, she said she was driving down the street and she saw a blue truck, and something made her turn around and follow this truck. And on the back windshield of the truck was the boy's name who passed.
Gosh.
Is that amazing? Boy, I just got chills. So good.
That is really powerful, really special, and really powerful. And when you hear that back,
it just brings me such peace.
But for the other,
for them, yes.
For them to know that their loved one is near and wanting to connect.
Yes. It is something that I'm grateful I can share with everyone.
It's a beautiful gift. And I'm glad we're here today and that we have this podcast and that you're able to share this on a bigger scale to let people know that there is so much comfort in that. And one of the stories I personally love that you tell.
Yes.
And you don't share everything with me, and you don't, I know that the readings are very private, but I know this happens sometimes that someone will come to you and they think that there's this one person that they're going to end up speaking to.
Yes.
And then, but there's somebody much stronger with this much stronger personality.
Yes.
That like kind of elbows,
yes.
Through to get in, to get a message.
Yes. Yeah. They're up front. They dominate it. And the others are so kind, they'll just step back and wait. And I'll say, I'm sorry, but this person wants to say what they want to say. And when they're done, they usually let the others come up and say a few things. But yeah, it all depends. I give that to them. I do ask, though, if there is someone specific they wanted to come through and didn't, I ask, and then I'm able to bring that person through. But you're absolutely right. It's just like here. Somebody's personality is stronger than others.
Yes, and I think that's another good question. I know you get so many questions about this, about what is it like on the other side. So we know the personalities are still there. If it's a strong personality, that remains. The people, their personalities remain. But what is it actually like?
So I describe it to people as, okay, so imagine you see, whether you've traveled somewhere or it's a picture of the most beautiful ocean you've ever seen, the bluest crystal clear ocean you've ever seen. Imagine that, if you can, 1,000,000 times more vibrant. The human eye can't even imagine it. That's how beautiful everything is there. It's pure peace.
Oh, just thinking about that makes me exhale. It just feels serene even thinking about that.
You just put a beautiful image in my mind, and that's something to look forward to.
Yes,
so,
yes.
Very nice.
Ben is our amazing producer. We're so grateful, Ben, that you came into our lives at the time when you did, because we felt like it was time to do this podcast, this show. And do you have any questions?
I mean, I have a bunch of questions. I guess one of the main questions that I think I just thought of, is there any harm done to you? Like, has there ever been like, maybe, I don't want to say a bad spirit or something,
fatigue
or something that where it's actually affected you?
That's an excellent question. So, yes. And that's where I had to practice and ask for I only speak to our loved ones on the other side, because there is a whole nother, I don't know if you'd call it world. I don't know what you would call it, but there's a whole nother way of talking to the dead, I guess you could say. Earthbounds, I call them, or some people call them ghosts. Like, those shows, Ghost Hunting, they're things like that. Those to me are earthbound. So one time I had a reading for someone, and that happened where I was standing there. She was just about to leave. It was quick. It didn't quite flow. It didn't quite feel right. I mean, I did get her a lot of messages, but then I felt this very strong, dark, what I call entity behind me. And it was in my house. And I said, you need to leave my house right now. And she knew she had an uncle that wasn't a very good person. But anyway, she left the house, and it took me a while to get this entity out of my house. And that's when I said, okay, I need to set some boundaries. I only want to speak to the ones who are, love and light and at peace. So luckily, that was the only time it happened, but it was no harm, because I was able to get it out, but I did not like it at all. And I won't ever do that again. If I ever feel something dark coming in, or even, that doesn't feel right, I'll immediately shut it down somehow.
Okay, that's also real life. Can we just take a minute and say,
yes.
But is that not real life as well, where there's
Yes.
energies? Okay, think about this, energies, and I want to that point, I have a story. Energies in our lives that are we could say toxic or not good for us or not positive or
Yes.
negative. Same thing in the world that we reside in. There's a woman at 117 years old, when someone asked her, what is the secret to a long life? Now, she's 117. She's been
Oh
around
my
a long time. Do you
gosh.
know what her answer was? No toxic people.
Wow.
Usually people will say you have to nap every day, or you eat really well, or, you exercise. Her answer was no toxic people. So no matter where the energy is coming from, positive vibes only.
Yep.
Surround yourself with love and light. Don't we say that too? Love and
Yes,
light.
love
I
and
love that
light.
expression.
Love and light. That's it.
There it is, right?
Love and light.
Sound right up. Love and light. We would love you to continue to be a part of the Medium at Heart community by following us on all the socials, all the platforms, including the TikTok, Facebook, Instagram. Of course, our podcast, please download on Spotify, on Apple. Check us out on YouTube. And until next time, love and light.
Love and light. Thank you for letting me share everything with you.